For this project, the region that we learned about was Hawaii. During the late 1800s and early 1900s, the people of Hawaii were being oppressed by the United States. Europeans and Americans started immigrating into Hawaii and buying all of their land and growing and exporting their goods. In the 1820s, interest grew for the growing and selling of sugar in Hawaii's sugar plantations. Many United States planters came to Hawaii to harvest the sugar plants. Sugar was the most important export crop. During the Civil War, the North relied largely on Hawaiian sugar imports to replace Southern growers, which made the industry boom. During this time, the overall rivalry between the United States and Great Britain continued. They both had immigrants going into Hawaii and were suspicious of one another, suspecting that they would try to seize control and take over Hawaii. In 1854, King Kamehameha III was skeptical of Britain's intentions and turned toward and put his trust in United States advisors. In 1874, David Kalakaua, a U.S. supporter, took throne. In 1876, he signed a treaty giving Hawaiian exporters free access to United States markets and doubled the number of American exports that would be admitted in Hawaii. In 1887, Kalakaua gave the U.S. exclusive access to the Pearl Harbor ports. During the reign of Kalakaua, the United States provided generous terms to Hawaiian sugar growers. Many immigrants came into Hawaii, settled there, and usually worked as sugar farmers. During this time, the mass production allowed their economy to grow in wealth. As the production increased, the plantation owners became very wealthy. These owners' influence on economy and religion allowed them to manipulate the government. In 1890, a tariff called the McKinley Tariff was created. This raised the average duty on imports to almost 50%, designed to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. Hawaiian sugar planters, as a result of this, were now being undersold in the American market. After the death of David Kalakaua, his sister Liliuokalani took the throne. She tried to restore the power of the monarchy that Kalakaua had lost in his reign. She believed that Hawaii's problem was foreign interference. In 1893, she sought to empower herself and Hawaiians through a new constitution that she had written. Her mission was to preserve the islands for their native residents. The Bayonet Constitution in 1887 was a legal document by anti-monarchists to strip the Hawaiian monarchy of its power. Members of the anti-monarchist movement took up arms to threaten King Kalakaua to sign a document creating a constitutional monarchy or to be disposed. This document stripped the king of his power. The Committee of Safety was a group composed of American and Hawaiian citizens that plotted an overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Their goal was to achieve annexation of Hawaii to the United States. By calling themselves the Committee of Safety, they thought of themselves as protecting the Hawaiian citizens, but were actually oppressing them because many did not want annexation. On January 17, 1893, Hawaii, composed largely of United States citizens, engineered the overthrow of Queen Liliuokalani. Hawaii was initially reconstituted as an independent republic, but the ultimate goal of the revolutionaries was the annexation of the islands to the United States, finally accomplished in 1898.
Hawaiian natives had no power over the annexation. They may have signed petitions and revolted against the United States, but that didn't help. They couldn't do anything but to follow the United States rules and not go against them. Leaders in Washington were concerned that Hawaii might become part of a European nation's empire. In 1842, Secretary of State Daniel Webster sent a letter to Hawaiian agents in Washington affirming U.S. interest in Hawaii and opposing annexation by any other nation. On January 5, 1895, an armed revolt was attempted to stop the annexation. The leader was Queen Liliuokalani, who was placed in jail after. Between September 11 and October 2, 1897, two groups collected petition signatures at public meetings to hope the U.S. government would realize that the majority of Hawaiians opposed annexation. The United States annexed Hawaii because they thought it would be a good naval base, and they were entering the Spanish-American War and needed a mid-Pacific fueling post. The locals also wanted to benefit economically and culturally and therefore supported the annexation of Hawaii. The next slide will be against annexation. Also organized protests in response to annexation attempts. They rallied behind two groups, Hawaiian Patriot League, Hawaiian Political Association. Many Hawaiian people are against annexation. That is why petitions to revolt were signed by more than 21,269 Native Hawaiian people. After briefly considering whether the Hawaiian people wished to be annexed, the Congress argued that the United States needed naval stations in Hawaii in order to protect its world trade. And in 1898, Congress approved the annexation of Hawaii. And the next slide will be the extension of U.S. territory. By the time the United States got serious about looking beyond its own borders to conquer new lands, they decided to annex Hawaii. And with the annexation of Hawaii, the United States territory extended. It gave them ground for missionaries and a new source of sugarcane production. Most native Hawaiians had their ancestral lands taken away from them, so now they had nothing. Their ancient land divisions extending from the sea up into the mountains were divided up, and wealthy American businessmen developed plantations and later resorts, leaving native Hawaiians with nothing. So there is an understandable bitterness. Hawaii's economy became increasingly integrated with the United States because business people came and took over land and their sugar production increased. And even before Hawaii was annexed, the U.S. dominated the Hawaii economy because of the treaty that they made for sugar production in 1875. Hawaiian natives had no power over the annexation. They may have signed petitions and revolted against the United States, but that didn't help. They couldn't do anything but to follow the United States rules and not go against them.